Stranger Things, it's all, well, actually no one's really talking about it because this new season is so atrociously awful. But I have painstakingly watched all 5 seasons, and it's taken me like 3.5 months, and I have fallen asleep during multiple episodes because of how fucking boring they are. But not all of it is bad. And while the finale is coming out tomorrow of the entire show, it is going to be bad. I mean, from like the actor's reaction, it's going to be like the worst thing anyone has ever seen since like the Game of Thrones finale. That's how bad it is. Literally, I went from watching Stranger Things season 5 to watching season 1 of Severance, and I was actually smack cammed by the like quality difference. And that is a show put out by Apple TV, a streaming service everyone forgets exists. That's really saying something. That's really saying something when a show on a streaming service maybe like 10 people in America use has better shows than Netflix, the biggest streaming service in probably the world, I would say. I mean, they already own like 3 other they already own Warner Brothers now, so like it can only go up from here. But today we are not talking about Netflix. We're talking about Stranger Things from start to not finish, because season 5 I have too many things to say about it. And I don't know if I can put that in this video because I think I would just go on for too long. But I might. It depends. Depends on how many thoughts I have on the rest of the show. Around that time. Rough mid-2000s. I've done my research, I just can't remember off the top of my head. But the first 2 seasons, peak. They're so good. Great. Like, everything is great. Like, the writing's really good. The, like, cinematography's really good. The music is, like, top tier. And then season 3, it's like, okay, I mean, I guess. But like, you know, you're still like chugging through because you're like, this isn't the worst thing I've ever watched. Is it kind of gross? Yeah. Is it kind of necessary? Yeah, but like, it has a really satisfying ending. That's like one of the best like finales I've like watched recently. Season 3 finale was great. And then you get to season 4 and it's like the biggest train wreck in like TV history. I struggled to get through that season. From how long all the episodes are, from how the finale is almost 3 hours. It's almost as long as Dune Part 1. Like, nothing happens. Nothing happens until like the last 45 minutes. And then just the length, that's when they really start just expositioning at each other, where they'll all just like get in a group in some random location. Like, it's like the same 3 locations they keep using, and they'll get together and then they'll just exposition at each other for like 10 minutes, and then you're like, okay, I got nothing from that. And then, you know, they'll go on to the next group, and then they'll exposition at each other some more, and then they'll all meet up and then have like some epiphany of like, oh my god, this is what we have to do to defeat Vecna or whatever. And then like they do that for an hour, and then it keeps going. I would say season 4 maybe only had like 2 good episodes, and they weren't even really that good. Also, they had a bunch of side characters that nobody needed to see that. Like, it was so bad. But season 5 really takes the cake for how shitty this IP has gotten. You know, it really went downhill. I would say, I mean, like, episodes 3 and 4 were, like, funny bad. Like, they were so bad that I was like, this kind of flops upwards. It's, like, really, it's kind of peak. But then, like, I was, like, going into, like, the second batch being like, oh, it's gonna be, like, as good as, like, bad good as, like, episodes 3 and 4 were. And then for some reason, they just ended up being worse than the first, like, episodes 1 and 2, which I thought were, like, really bad. I said I wasn't going to talk about season 5, but I just have too many thoughts. It's just because it's fresh in my mind. Creepy, and, you know, it snatches Will, and they're like, oh my god, where'd he go? And then they figure out he's down there, and they're like, holy shit, like, there's, like, this whole, like, government conspiracy, and there's this, like, other world beneath Hawkins. What are we gonna do, guys? And then it's, like, actually, like, compelling. And, like, the characters have real conversations. There's no exposition dumping at each other. And, like, you know, the characters, like, sound natural and, like, they're not, like, dumbed down yet. and like, you know, the adults have actual conversations that have meaning and aren't just like random like metaphor like monologues. Oh my god. And then don't get me started on the monologues. They monologue way too much in this show. Like, stop monologuing. I don't care. But they haven't started monologuing yet, and when they do monologue, it like I'm like, oh my gosh, like peak. Like the acting is so good in season 1. Like, it's some of like the best acting I've ever seen in like a Netflix original. And then the music in season 1 is just absolute peak. It's so good because like it's one of the core things I remember about Stranger Things as a kid, as someone who wasn't allowed to watch it when it came out. But I just remember always hearing the theme song and I was like, this bangs. But like the music, it's like it's so good. Like season 1 and 2, I'd say. And I don't really like have a favorite character really in season 1 because I think all the characters are so well written and they're all great. And like further down the road, you're just like, I hate all of these people because they have no personality and they don't talk to each other. They just, you know, spew random bullshit that I don't even really know the meaning of. And my favorite thing about season 1 is the ambiguity of it all. Like, you don't really know who 11 is. You're like, this is just like some kid that showed up. And like, you kind of know like a little bit about like all the experiments they're doing on her and stuff. But like, they keep it ambiguous enough where you're like, oh, this is like evil, but like why it's evil. Like, they keep it really vague and like it makes you want to know more, but also like not want to really know more because you kind of like where it's at. It's like at that nice medium because they don't tell you too much. They don't like tell you a bunch of like bullshit you don't really need to know. Like, they just like kind of show you what's happening with her, and then you're like, oh, that's really interesting. And like the whole like government project or whatever, and then with like the upside down, like, I mean, in season 1 you don't see a lot of it, but like with those parts you do see, you're like, well, that's really creepy. Why is it like just Hawkins but like creepy and has toxic air and weird demogorgon dog things that like to eat people? But it's really interesting, and just like the portals and how they interact with it is really cool, and like I don't know, it's pretty sick. Ambiguity of all is what makes it so intriguing. It makes you want to watch more. I would say the connection I'd make here, I haven't watched all of Severance. I think I'm only halfway through season 1, but so far my favorite part about it is how vague they are with literally everything. They don't like explain like things to you that you don't need to know. They kind of just like show you what's happening, and then like you're supposed to kind of figure it out. Like, I feel like this was before Netflix like started making their like TikTok shows where like they expect you to be watching TikToks the whole time. So like everyone is just like talking about like random bullshit that you're supposed to be actually be watching. So like you can totally see that this is a product of its time, especially compared to season 5, which again got TikTokified and has that like cringe ass Netflix dialogue that, you know, no one would actually ever say in real life. I've seen so many of those TikToks. I think like a lot of their new shows really fall like prey to that. Like, it's so bad. But like when I watch a show, I'm usually not on my phone. I'm there to watch the show, unless it's either something I've seen before or it's something I don't care about. Most of the time I'm sat. I'm there. I've been sat this whole time. I literally had to lock in with Stranger Things. The only thing I was doing besides watching it was taking notes on the show for the 3 videos I'm gonna make about it. Oh, another thing about season 1 that I think is really funny, and I don't think anyone has thought about since like 2015, is that Will had a dog, and like they had a dog, and he was there, and the dog was pretty prevalent, and then the dog just kind of disappears by like the end of the season, and you never see the dog again. No one knows what happens to it. I think it got eaten by a demogorgon, but like I think that's probably what happened to it, I would assume. But like nobody says anything. Like, no one acknowledges that a dog was even there in the first place. Like, the dog was just there. But yeah, and then my last thing about season 1, I thought I was done talking about season 1, but I'm not, is like the adults actually have like meaningful, I think I already brought this up, but they have like meaningful conversation that like actually adds to the story and like amplifies how good the acting is, especially with like Joyce. She literally does nothing in season 5. I think she maybe has 10 lines, and they're all like really stupid and like meaningless, and she's just kind of like, oh my god, Will, like, nah, in season 5, and then like that's all she's been doing for like the past like 3 seasons. But in season 1 and 2, like she actually had like meaning in the story, and she actually had a place. I feel like a lot's what happened. That's what that's what's happened to all the adults that exist in the Stranger Things universe, is they've all lost their place in the story. Even Hopper's lost his place. Like, I don't even know what that bitch is doing anymore. Like, he's just kind of, I think he wants to die. I think, like, everyone in this show wants to just die. They want to be over, with it so bad. He literally, like, that's how bad it's gotten, is the characters don't even want to be alive anymore. I feel like that should say something. And not even, like, they don't want to be alive in a meaningful way, they just don't want to be there. And I think that's really funny. I mean, if I was a character in Stranger Things, I wouldn't want to be there either. I'd be like, you know what, maybe I should just not live in Hawkins, you know? I feel like this place only has problems, and it's these, like, 5 kids that are causing these problems, but they're not really causing the problems, but they kind of are causing the problems. But, like, you don't really know. So, like, but I'd be gone, you know? But yeah, so, like, it's so bad. Season 2, I would say, is almost just as good as the first season. It's just a little less good. And the reason why I'd say it's a little less good is because of Eleven's story arc. I'm just gonna say it. I don't like Eleven in the entire series except for season 1. After season 1, she just pisses me off. Either, like, she is I mean, I feel like I just need to make an entire, like, section of this video dedicated to how much Eleven annoys me as a character, because she is so poorly written. Also, like, Millie Bobby Brown is, like, 23, and I think she's supposed to be, like, 15. Like, girl, I have no words for Eleven in season 5. I mean, I do have words, but, like, anyway. But circling it back to season 2, Eleven is, I think, she's not the worst part, but I'd say in the beginning, I really don't like her in the storyline. I think it really takes away from, like, the main, like, Will plot. Because I like how ambiguous that is, too, because you don't know what the shadow thing is that's, like, possessing him. Like, you don't know if it's connected to the Upside Down. Well, you know it's a part of the Upside Down, some form or fashion, but you don't know why, and you don't really know why it's chosen him out of, like, any other child in Hawkins. And you do know why, because he was down there, but like, you know, and you don't really know what it is, or, like, what its purpose is, or what it's doing. I mean, you kind of figure that out by the end, but, like, it's just, I love the ambiguity of it all, and it's, like, it's this being, but it's also not. And I think they did the Fast and Furious retcon thing where they're like, we never said Vecna was the shadow thing, so what if he was? They do that so much. They do the Fast and Furious retcon thing, but instead of having all the characters either have a sibling or a child that you didn't know about, it's just like, well, Vecna wasn't, we never said Vecna wasn't there, so he actually was. They completely retcon what was interesting about the first 2 seasons into being like, but it was Vecna all along. No, it wasn't. Vecna, like, he wasn't even a thought in the Duffer Brothers' mind until season 4, when they ran out of ideas and they had to find a new villain to take up enough space to fill, like, 2 seasons to fulfill their contract. Like, that is the most, like, phoned-in villain I've ever seen in my life. And people that try to justify him as a villain, I'm not taking that, because he's barely a villain, dude. He only goes after the same, like, 5 kids. I feel like I keep, this is just like an ADHD rant at this point. I really need to rein it in. But going back to season 2, I promise I'm gonna lock in. They introduced Max in season 2, and I think she's really cool. I feel like they don't give too much away, like, right away about her. You kind of just, like, naturally figure out things about her life, and it's interesting, and she's, like, an interesting, like, new character that they add, because they haven't really added any new characters until that season. I think they had Bob and they had Max, I think. And Billy. I hate Billy, but we'll get back to Billy. He's more important later. But, like, he's just, like, super hateable from the beginning. Like, anyone that stands Billy, like, girl, get your shit together. Like, sit down. He's terrible. I think that's the point. Like, they want you to hate him, I guess, which makes him, like, I guess, kind of interesting. But the main Will plot is so interesting. It's like, that was my favorite part about season 2, because, like, it kind of starts out, because I thought this ending to season 1 was, like, brilliant, because, like, it seemed like it was just going to end there, like, they weren't going to make any more seasons, but then they did, and it's really, really interesting how they, like, kind of tie that in, and it actually makes sense. It has, like, continuity. There's no, like, continuity errors, or, like, this was totally retcon, because they, like, either A, ran out of ideas, or B, they, like, hit a roadblock and they had to, like, retcon stuff from earlier. But I did say that I didn't know how I felt about the hive mind, and I felt like it was kind of like a cop-out for, like, the world building that they'd been building up. But, like, it kind of made sense, I guess. But, like, at the time I was like, what? But they still keep up even with, like, the whole introduction of the hive mind, they still keep up the ambiguity of, like, the upside down, and, like, they still, like, don't really tell you a lot of stuff, because it's, like, you're not really supposed to know. So season 2 was really good. It also it had really good music, had really good cinematography, the acting was still really good. The 11 plot was a choice, but, you know, it's fine. Like, I feel like there's too much going on with 11, because you had the thing with her and Hopper, and then you had the thing with her and her mom, then you had the thing with her and 8, I think. It's either 8 or 9. You had that whole thing, then you have her coming back to, like, save them. So it's just, like, I feel like they were doing too much with 11. They should have chose one path and like, went with it. Because, like, Will was, like, they did one path with, like, Will and the rest of the characters. But they, like, why did I lose my train of thought? Oh, wait, no, is that season 3? No, never mind. I got confused. Because, like, you know, like, they have a one track for, like, the rest of the characters, and then there's just 11 doing whatever the fuck, like, just doing random bullshit. So, like, I feel like they really should have reined it in. Like, the 8 thing is interesting, but you can tell that was supposed to be, like, a one-time thing, or they were gonna, like, get back to it and, like, but, like, I feel like they could have done without, like, one of the subplots. I mean, in, like, season 5, they try to tie them all together, and it, like, kind of works, but not really. I don't know. I feel like they should have cut out. I don't know. They shouldn't have done so much with her. Like, there was too much going on with 11 that, like, kind of bothered me. Moving on to season 3. This is where Stranger Things starts to go off the fucking rails. I mean, season 3 aesthetically is really cool. I do really like the mall. The mall is, like, cool as fuck. Like, I think the mall really makes the show, but it's also the mall that pisses me off the most, because, like, my suspension of disbelief is out the window at this point. Like, how am I supposed to believe that you have a top secret Russian laboratory and the US government doesn't know at all, and you built a mall to cover it all up, but you just built this mall, like, just randomly, like, one day, or, like, and it just, like, kind of appears, and then people are like, oh my god, there's, like, a mall now. And then you just have a laboratory that nobody finds, like, nobody suspects a thing. Like, the lab is, like, insane. They're building, like, a super weapon under there. Like, how would people not know? Like, it's during the, like, Red Scare. How would you not? Like, the government doesn't figure it out until Hopper literally calls them. It's like, hey, yo, the Russians built a whole ass, like, laboratory to open the Upside Down portal again after we closed it last season. And they're like, hey, yo, what? We gotta go investigate that shit. And they do. And then they're like, how did we not know this was here the whole time? You would have known. They would have known. That pissed me off. I literally wrote that down, like, several times of, like, bro. And then they, like, and the way they explain it is it's, like, the mayor was the one that, like, did all the cover-up and stuff. And I was like, oh, we're gonna build a mall or whatever. Well, they came to him and they were like, we want to build this mall. And he was like, sure, you know, revenue or whatever. And they're like, we can't tell anyone about it's, like, the Russians or whatever. And he's like, well, why would I tell people? Like, brother, what do you mean? I hate the mayor, by the way. He's so annoying, and you know that he's, like, kind of evil from the very beginning. He's a very punchable face. Joyce does end up punching him in, like, the carnival parking lot, and I felt justified. I was like, But this is the beginning of the Russian subplot, which I can't stand. Thankfully, in season 5, they extinguished the no more Russians. I was very thankful. I thought the Russians were going to come back, but they don't. And that's... If the Russians came back, I think I would actually have to stop watching the show. But the Russians do not come back. In fact, they do not come back. Because, Vecna and his children army take precedence. But beginning of the Russian subplot, I wrote down that Will talks like an alien. I mean, it kind of makes sense. He just had, like, a demon exorcised from him. Also, like, this is where the writing is, like, where it starts dumbing down all the kids. Because in the first 2 seasons, they're very, like, inquisitive and, like, figuring things out for themselves. And, like, I don't know, they sound like actual children that would talk to each other in 1983. But then in this one, I think, which takes place in 1985, I think, or 84. It's, like, mid-80s. Like, they start sounding really stupid for no reason, and I'm like, why did we have to dumb down the children? That was why? Also, like, so, like, they treat Will terribly, even though he literally spent, like, 3 months with, like, a upside down demon thing. And then 2, you have, like, Mike being a little asshole, a little bitch, being like, oh no, Levin doesn't love me, and he's just treating everyone, like, terribly. Like, he's taking it out on it, he's making it everyone's problem. And then you have them, like, completely disregard, like, Dustin comes back from, like, the summer camp, and then they, like, completely, like, forget, like, abandon him for the entirety of the season until the season finale, and they're like, oh my god, Dustin, like, what's up, man? And, like, they had completely, like, forgotten about him, and you just have Dustin out there, like, just doing it all with Steve and Robin because his actual friends just abandoned him. And, like, they completely forget he exists. Like, they do all this other stuff without, like, ever, like, reaching out. Like, they didn't even hear from him. Like, the mistreatment, this friend group, I swear to God, in this season, I'm just like, what is wrong with you people? I know you're only, like, 13, but, like, goddamn. So that's just like, okay. I also wrote down that I could physically feel this plot, this show losing the plot. And I could feel it in my bone. The Russians were in fact in the walls. It was confirmed. Again, I feel like people would have known they were in the walls, but whatever. Also, they were broadcasting all their secret messages on, like, a local, like, bandwidth. Like, the US government, they would do, like, whatever. I think at least the police or something. I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah, I literally wrote several times that Will doesn't deserve the treatment that he gets in this show. He's, like, so mistreated to the point where he, like, runs away and, like, to, like, the castle buyers fort and is just, like, having a mental breakdown. I would, too, if my friends were that bitchy. Like, brother in Christ, why are you treating him so badly? He had a demon exorcised from him. I mean, think if you were him. Again, maybe it's foreshadowing for season 5. I don't know. The music was, it was, like, come and go. Some of it was really good. Some of it was, like, okay. This was also the beginning of the product placement, in the show. It gets really bad in season 5. Like, there's product placement, like, every other episode. This is where the product placement starts with, like, the whole, like, Coke scene where, like, Lucas is like, hey guys, do you want, like, Coke Zero? Which I didn't even know existed in the 80s, but I guess it did. It was, like, some kind of weird 80s Coke brand? Like, type, I think it was Coke Zero. I don't really remember. But, yeah, there's, like, that whole thing. There's some other, like, product placement. I was just like, bruh. Like, I mean, a lot of shows do that anymore, especially, like, Netflix shows. Like, at least they're not advertising Netflix in this show, because they can't, or that'd be the biggest continuity error of all time. I also wrote down, I think this was during episode 4, if Vecna, so the, like, I haven't talked about this, but I would say season 3 is really gross. It's the grossest season, because it's, like, this weird blob entity, like, possesses people, because, like, Billy's possessed, and, like, he possesses other people. And then it possesses rats, possesses the rats first, but they, like, explode after a while, and it's really, really gross. And then after they explode, it, like, absorbs them, And throughout, I was calling it Lord Demogorgon because I thought it was a Demogorgon at first, and it wasn't a Demogorgon. It was this weird, like, blob hive mind thing that was really gross. But, like, there's this part in the show where, like, it, like, turns a bunch of people into, like, it's, like, you know, it, like, possesses a bunch of people, and then it, like, puts them in this, like, conveyor belt kind of thing, and then they all just, like, explode, and it is the grossest thing I've ever seen. Like, it's literally just a Resident Evil boss. It's so nasty. But I wrote regarding the Lord Demogorgon, if he ends up being Vecna, I was like actually gonna lose my mind. And then I wrote still unclear because like I don't know what the fuck that was. It's never really brought up again. Like the shadow thing that was inside Will is brought up again. You even see it I think in like season 4. But the weird blob entity that was making people like explode is never mentioned. Like, they completely forget about it, I guess. I don't know, maybe it was a one-time thing, but like, it was gross. I also didn't really understand what was going on, and like the upside down, you don't see it in season 3 at all. They don't really show it. They only show the weird blob thing that like I think escapes from like when the Russians activated it, I think. I don't know where it came from. Well, it came from the upside down, obviously. I don't know how it got there. I don't know why it's a blob of, like, meat. I don't even think Demogorgons are in season 4. Or season 3. Like, I don't remember them showing up. It's mostly the mall, the Russians, and then the weird blob that possesses people. And then you have, like, Nancy girl bossing too close to the sun, and like they do this is a trope I've noticed. They do like the hospital trope where they destroy this hospital, like because like in season 3 they destroy it by like chasing around these like the blob clones that are like the newspaper guys that were like treating Nancy like shit, and they chase them around and they're like literally destroying this place, and then Nancy like literally girl bosses too close to the sun and almost dies, and then Jonathan should be dead or at least like in a wheelchair or like paralyzed or some shit, but he's fine, you know, nothing really happens to him. Again, very Fast and Furious of them. I feel like, now that I think about it, there's a lot of similarities between Fast and Furious and Stranger Things, but it's mostly because of the continuity errors, there being way too many characters, and all the retconning. Oh, and like all the characters having impenetrable character armor, or plot armor, not character armor. Yeah. Oh, also them having, like, the most pointless dialogue of all time. And shitty villains. But that's besides the point. But, yeah, so, I don't know. Again, I can only suspend my disbelief so much. The science makes absolutely no sense. Also, they have, like, this Russian Blorbo guy. So, like, each season they, like, bring this, like, Blorbo in. Because they bring in Bob in the second season, and they fucking kill him off. I didn't even mention that. I forgot to talk about that. Is they bring him in and he's like, I love him. He's so sweet. I love Bob. He's great. And they literally needlessly kill him off. They literally kill him to just kill him. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, they did not need to kill Bob. Bob did not need to be killed. Like, hashtag don't kill Bob. It was I was so mad when they killed Bob. I knew he was gonna die, but like, I was just like, brother, why do you have to kill off my boy? Like, what? So they have him, and then season 3, I guess it's Billy, but like, you're not supposed to like him. But it's this like Russian Blorbo guy that Joyce and Hopper kidnap, and like he's kind of funny. I kind of like him. He's kind of fun. And then I like how they kill him off though. I think his death is justified because he has a fun death because this other like Russian dude he was working with, who was literally just Timu John Wick, like shoots him with a silencer in the middle of this like county fair thing, and like that's how he dies. and like, you know, he had a justified death. So I feel like he's the only Blorbo I think that has a that was allowed to die, because his death was A, kind of funny, and B, I was like, okay, like he's not that important. Bob was important. Like, you could have he could have been like a mainstay character. But no, you had to go and kill off his ass by, like, a Demogorgon eating him. That's so dumb. Bruh. Yeah, no. This season is when you figure out how dumbed down all the characters have been. So bad. Like, the dumbing down of Mike needs to be studied in the lab. I think I've written that down, like, 3 times. Like, it's so bad how much they've dumbed this kid down. And it's gotten so bad to the point in season 5 he barely has any dialogue because he kind of just sits there and he's just like, yeah, I guess. Anyway. My roommate's dog was trying to break down my door because she wanted in, so I had to pet her to reassure her that I wasn't abandoning her. I'm just trying to film a video. But anyway, yeah, the blob monster's gross. Steve, Robin, and Dustin break into the government lab that totally other people should have found by now but haven't. You know, they're doing shit down there. But then like Robin and Steve get like captured by the Russians, and then like they start like beating the shit out of them to be like, who are you working for? And you know, they work for like the Scoops Ahoy ice cream place. So like they're just like brother in Christ, I don't know what you're talking about. So I like that scene. And then Dustin is just like him and and Erica's with him too. They're just like hustling, dude. They're locked the fuck in. My favorite part, I would say, from them being in like the Russian lab bunker thing is when he starts like explaining the My Little Pony lore to Erica, and I think that's really funny. Like, honestly, you go, sir. Like, total autism moment. I would totally do that too. I remember I got mad when they kidnapped Steve because he's my boy. I love him. I have the Steve haircut. You can't really tell because it's like in a weird. He kind of looks like it. But anyway, he's my boy. He's my dad. He's my ride or die. I love him. I love him. I love Steve. He can do no wrong. But I was like, no one touches my son. And no one touches my son, obviously. And then I realized it was really losing the plot by like episode 6. Because I originally wrote down like, why are the characters so dumbed down? That's what I was talking about before I stopped the video. Before I stopped recording. Why they dumb all the characters down for like no reason. And then I wrote like yesterday when I was like going through all of them, it only gets worse because it does only get worse. And then in the finale, like they, you know, find Dustin or whatever and they're like, oh my god, I missed you. And then I wrote down them acting like they actually missed Dustin is sending me like, girl, you completely forgot he existed. Like they did. I don't think they acknowledge his existence until they like need him to sing Neverending Story with his like Discord girlfriend from Utah. Like, bruh. Also, what happened to her? She like isn't relevant after season 4 when they use her for her computer knowledge to geolocate 11 in her secret bunker. But that's besides the point. Like, they do the Pretty Little Liars thing where like certain characters will get introduced and then they like completely disappear and you're like, I wonder what happened to that character. You'll never know because they just went off the radar. No one knows where they went or what happened to them. It's not important, obviously. And then I wrote a ton about the like Robin being like, Steve, I'm gay or whatever. Like you go. I remember just being pissed off of like her delivery because I'm like, this could have been like cool and like fun, but for some reason it really annoyed me, and I think it's just because I wish it was handled differently. But like in hindsight, I made this note last night. In hindsight, it was way better than the, guys, I don't like girls. I just need to let everyone know. Like, you know, at least they wrote that better than, the Will, guys, I'm gay. Like, girl, no one gives a shit. Like, at least with Robin, you're like, oh, like, Slay Queen, like, ally, but like, but they're like, babe, nobody cares, or babe, we knew from day one. But the finale of season 3 is really good. Like the show like leading up to it is either mid or just like kind of bad. But the finale fucks heavy because like for the rest of the show they're really relying heavily on Eleven's powers, and it's kind of a cheap cop out. Like it's kind of lazy writing, low-key. Like these people can't do anything for themselves. They're just like, 11, you need to save us with your telekinesis. And then finally when she's like, you know, she's like out of service, like they finally have to think for themselves. Like that thing was my favorite part because like I was like, okay, like they're not just gonna be like, 11, you have to save us, because she can't. And then like she also like can't use her powers anymore because she like used them too much. That's what you get. That's what you get for not using your brains. That's what you get for not critically thinking your way through a situation. So like But yeah, so I like that. They didn't rely on that. And they had like a good like Billy wrap up. I like how they wrapped him up. I thought that was good. And they tied in Maxwell because she was still like pretty new. And like it was just cool. Like it was really engaging. It was entertaining. It kind of made the Russian plot line not as bad. I still hate it to this day, but like like everything kind of like tied together. It wasn't as like all over the place, and it was cool. And the music was good. They also had really good cinematic shots and shit. Is this one with the Dutch tilt? I can't remember, but like, I think they had good send-offs for the characters. And the show was low-key falling apart, and then the finale was like, okay, cool. Also, the finale is a really satisfying ending because it's like the Byers move away from Hawkins to California because too much shit happened there, and I think that would have been a perfect place to just end the series. Was the season kind of ass? Yeah, but like it had a good ending, so like it's kind of justified in how ass it was. So they should just left it there, and then we wouldn't have to endure the pain of seasons 4 and 5. But, what do I know? What do I know about good TV? Netflix knows everything, obviously. They know what the people want. The people want shitty writing and actors who clearly don't give a shit and are there for the paycheck. Honestly, I think the only, actor that, actually, cared, which is kind of sad, is the guy that plays Vecna. I love him. He's great. But he's the only one that's yeah, I fuck with Vecna heavy, and everyone else is just yeah, my character's cool, I guess. Yeah. He's just bruh, Vecna's so cool for real, I loved playing him, even though I had to be in awful Grinch prosthetics, low key. So mad respect. But yeah, I also thought the finale built really good tension, unlike, well, I feel like the other finales did too, but they would build the tension throughout the show, so it was kind of a good payoff. But the season 3 built no tension until the finale, and then I was okay, this fucks heavy, But yeah, no. Me and my friends were talking about it, and we thought that if they made this more of an anthology, I was gonna say analog, but that made no sense. If they made it more of an anthology series, it would actually be a much better show because it wouldn't be following the same 5 kids. It'd be following different people in Hawkins and stuff, and I think that'd be really interesting. They'd still show up because Hawkins is a small town, but it would make more sense to have it would be from different perspectives of what's happening with the Upside Down. I think that'd be cool, and I really wish they did that, but they never did. I mean, I guess we'll get some spin-off shows because I know 100% they're gonna make a spin-off show about either Nancy, or they're gonna make a spin-off show about the Dimension X or whatever. They're gonna milk this thing until they literally can't milk it anymore. We're on to season 4 now. We're almost there. Was the first thing I wrote down for episode 1 was that was genuinely so bad. What the fuck? But yeah, season 4 starts out kind of, it starts out bad, but then it kind of goes into good bad territory because Vecna's so unserious. Bro, I can't take your ass seriously. I mean, he literally is going up to kids and being I want to munch on your bones, and then breaks all said bones. And then they're I'm using you as a part of my prophecy. It's really just Cluck strikes 12, midnight arrives meme. That's what I think of when I think of season 4 Vecna, low-key. Especially when it gets to the one nerdy kid whose name is Fred, and he's just Fred! Girl, can we be so real? Why are you doing that? That's unnecessary. You're just a Scooby-Doo villain at that point. You can be pulling shit like that. It makes no sense. Also, fun fact about season 4 is, they split the party up in 5 different ways. Because you have the Byers and 11 in, California, and then you have Dustin, Max, Steve, Nancy, and then the new character they introduced, Eddie and Hawkins. And then you have Hopper in the Gulag in Siberia. So they split up 3 ways. But in the California crew, the high school that Will and 11 go to was my old high school in New Mexico because I moved to where I'm currently living in 2017. So I spent my freshman year of high school there, and I was watching it and I was like, why did that look hella familiar? Because it's like outside. I was like, why did that look so familiar? Like I've been there before. Like what is it? And then I was like, and then I like had to like rewinded it like 5 times, and I was like, because I was like, it's like in like the terrace like outside area, and like they have like these raised like platforms with like grass, and I was like, bro, I've been there before, and then I like looked it up, and I'm like, oh my god, they filmed it at my old high school. So I've been on one filming location of Stranger Things, so that was fun. But yeah, so they filmed at my old high school, which I thought was very fun, and I made sure to tell everyone I knew that because I was like, that's so cool, what the hell. But you know, like at this point the acting has gotten significantly worse. This is where season 3 kind of started the expositioning at each other, and the epiphany that like one of them will have, where they like look at a thing, they're like, oh my god, guys, I have this master plan. They kind of do that in season 3, but only like a couple of times. Season 5, they do it like every conversation. They're like, looks at a bag of popcorn in the microwave. Guys, I know how we're gonna defeat Vecna. Like, it's so bad. But, I don't know what was happening with the Duffer Brothers, low-key. You know, maybe Netflix was, running them dry. I don't know. But, and then I wrote, what happened to these people during the 3-4 year gap? I can't read. What happened to these people during the 3 to 4 year gap between filming seasons? Like, even my girl Winona was lacking. Like, this is where her acting, like, I'm not blaming Winona Ryder, but like, they weren't giving her a lot to work with. They weren't giving her a lot to work with. Also, this is where we get the fuck ass wig territory. Like literally, they slap a wig on 11 and just hope people don't notice. Like they're just like, no one will notice. No one will notice. Especially like the flashback. Like, but no one's gonna know. They're not gonna know. They're gonna know. It's like that meme. Also, I have to point out one of the main reasons why I really don't like 11 as a character is every time she talks, why does she sound like that? Like, why does she have the vocabulary and the like speech skill patterns of a 10-year-old? She's in school. Like the first 2 seasons I'm like, okay, whatever. But season 3 and 4, like, girl, you've been in school for a while. I feel like you learn how to speak English at least. Like that, and in season 5 she still talks like that, and I'm like, girl, be so for real. Like, why do you sound like you're like, literally I am 10 years old. Like, can we not? Like, I know you're better than this. Like, I can't stand how she talks. It's so annoying. Like, bitch, be so real. Like, but yeah, no, like, literally there's like 8 different subplots in season 4. Like, I'm not even gonna talk about it because it's like a waste of time. Like, they spend so much time expositioning at each other or having the most meaningless conversations of all time. Also, season 4 is when they introduce a bunch of pointless, annoying, like, sidekick, like, NPC characters. I hate Argyle so much. I hate his ass. He's so pointless. He has the most pointless stoner dialogue. I hate him. Why is he here? He adds nothing to the story. Thankfully, I don't know what happens to him. He goes back to California or some shit. I don't know. But I fucking hate his ass. Like, girl, be so for real. Also, when my friends told me when we were watching it, they were like, this show is so aggressively 80s. It's like actually like shoving it in your face, being like, this takes place in the 80s. Like, you're gonna accept it. Like, don't you know it's 1985? Like, it's so painfully, like, 80s. Like, don't get me wrong, the 80s aesthetic is one of my favorite things in the world. I love it. But it gets to a point where it feels unnatural, and that's what season 4 feels like. Like, I feel like seasons 1 and 2, and maybe a little bit of 3, like, I was like, okay, like, this is, like, a stab, like, this could happen in, like, the real world. Like, it looks realistic. It feels real. And then you get to seasons, like, 3 and 4, and you're like, this looks like somebody who read a Wikipedia page about the 80s would think the 80s are. Like, that's like, not even if I made, like, That's like if somebody who's like watched a shit ton of 80s movies and then made a movie or a show, like they made the show from, and the only knowledge they have of the 80s is like movies they've seen or like music they've listened to. Like that's what it's kind of giving. Also season 4 is the introduction of the running up that hill thing. I remember when I'm gonna mention this in my other video. I'm not gonna talk about it as much, but I learned to sing this song really well because of this show, because running up that hill was literally everywhere, and everyone their mom was doing like a cover of it. I love that song personally. I think it's really, really good, and I do like it in the show a lot. And actually, I do like it with Max's character because it, like, I don't know, it's very, like, satisfying, like, what it does with her character and stuff later on. Also, Jonathan was a pretty good character in the first 3 seasons, and I really liked him. I hate his ass in seasons 4 and 5 because they literally get rid of all of his character development and like ambition that he's built up, and they just turn him into this like stoner guy who's like, I have like no meaning in life. Nancy doesn't love me, and I don't think I love Nancy because I don't want to do anything with my life. I'm sad, guys. Like, girl, be so real. Like, they didn't need to do that. If they didn't know what to do with Jonathan, then they should have. I don't know. They didn't need to do that. I feel like whenever they don't know what to do with the character, they just turn him into like an addict of some kind that has like depression. Like, that's such a cop-out, dude. Like, can we not? Can we not? Again, the dumbing down of Mike in this season needs to be studied in a lab, because like, brother, what do you mean? What do you mean? Why are you so stupid? Like, I know it's spring break, but like, brother in Christ, just why? I feel like they made Steve this was the downfall of Steve, in my opinion. Like, not the downfall really, but like, they just make Steve a really boring character in season 4. Like, he's kind of just there. Like, where's my boy at? Like, what's he doing? Like, I don't know, they kind of make him like this like Nancy Jonathan foil. Like, they do like this Twilight love triangle with him, and it's annoying as shit. Like, brother, leave my boy alone. Like, I don't know. It's dumb. Also, season 4 gave me a lot of secondhand embarrassment. I was watching it with some of my other friends, and they also got severe secondhand embarrassment, specifically from 11 being like, with the power of the Upside Down, I condemn thee, and then like nothing happens, and it's like super embarrassing. Like, girl, oh my god, I don't know if I could. I think I'd run away at that point. I feel like you'll never see me again. Like, it feels like there's too many characters with their own plots. It's just bad. I wrote down that after I watched episode 3, that I said, I hate Argyle so much. He's so needlessly annoying, bruh. I hate how much potential this season had, and it makes me mad. Like, it does. It's infuriating. You're like, this season could be good. But is it? No. Also, they introduced a bunch of, like, weird government, like, side conspiracy bullshit that, like, I don't care, dude. I don't care. Also, this is where they get into, like, all the Henry Vecna lore. I kind of care about that because I thought it was, like, actually kind of interesting. I was like, okay, maybe we're going somewhere with Vecna. And then we were going nowhere. He just turns out to be he likes kids a little too much. He likes kids just a little too much. A little too, like, brother, maybe, like, we should be maybe pumping the brakes on how much we love children. Like, what's crazy is he goes from, like, terrorizing, like, teenagers that have, like, depression and, like, their parents hate them, to, like, actually, like, being like, what if I kidnapped 12 small children and put them in my weird Dimension X torture chamber? It's not really a torture chamber. In my weird, like mind chamber thing where they all live in a house together and I manipulate the living shit out of them. It's so I can take over the world, of course, because, you know. But children are the key. Brother likes children a little too much. A little too much. Especially Will, like, bruh. We're at, like, a 10, we need to take it down to, like, a 2. A 1 even. Like, it's so bad. Terrorizing teenagers, okay, but like... So I saw this TikTok about, I know I'm derailing again, but I feel like I need to say this because it's funny, Vecna being like, I'm gonna tell your mom you're gay, being like his like big like life-shattering like thing he was gonna do is like so stupid. Like the person was like, that's some like middle school bullshit right there. Like, bro, bro, you're supposed to be this like all-powerful being. Do you not have anything else to do with your time? Like, I don't know, maybe take out your daddy issues on someone else. But maybe he's secretly gay and he's just using Will as a way to deal with that, you know? Who knows? Who knows? No one knows. There's a lot of things about Vecna that are still unclear. But that's fine. I don't want to know more. But yeah, no, I feel like a lot of like information about like the government conspiracies get out of hand. Like they are so bad. Like at first I was like, okay, like this is interesting, this is cool. Like, okay. Cause I am a hoe for conspiracies and shows. Like any like government or like corporate conspiracy that like reveals like lore and like they're like evil. I fuck with that shit heavy. But in Stranger Things, it's so like goes so bonkers off the rails. I'm just like, what? Does the president know about this? Like, does the Secretary of War know about this? Does the FBI know about this? Does the CIA have any clue what's going on? No, it's just this like one group of like weird radical military people that are like, what if we just made telekinetic children? What if we built an entire base in the Upside Down and like the president doesn't need to know. The FBI, they're never gonna know. Like, girl, be so like make it make sense. Especially like the 80s, like military, like they had other shit going on. They had like the Berlin Wall. Like I don't think Ronald Reagan was fucking with the Upside Down. I'm gonna be so honest. Like I don't think he was like out here being like, guys, you know what our biggest priority is right now? It's not freeing the hostages from Iran. It's Hawkins, Indiana. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you know what's our most important priority, guys? It's not, you know, like the war on terrorism, the beginnings of like terrorism in like Russia and shit. It's the Upside Down. Like, it's capturing 11. Like, be so real. Like, the government makes no sense in this show. No. Oh my god, dude. Like, this is like right before like the X-Files. Oh my god, dude. Fox Mulder would have he would have the time of his life in the Upside Down. He'd be like, this is my calling. Like, aliens, fuck aliens. The Upside Down. Like, he would be going ham in Hawkins. Like, he would literally live there and be like, guys, this brings the X-Files to a whole nother level. Like, the FBI's gonna be all over this shit. Like, they don't believe him. And he finds all these, like, rogue military people down there, like, running illegal experiments. And he's just like, hey, yo. That's against so many laws. But, like, I don't know. I just thought of that and I think that's really funny. I will say though, with season 4 and the whole running up that hill thing, I do think those scenes that they do with Max and the whole song and everything are really cool. Like, it fucks heavy. It fucks heavy. And Vector's like, no, why? And then like, you know, she's like and she's like, get fucked. And then like, I don't know. But it goes hard. It's good. It goes hard. You know, it's just like, I wrote down, I'm truly running out of things to say about this show. I really am. I feel like I'm not, but like, there were some points where I maybe write like 3 things down about an episode just because I didn't care. The thing that pissed me off the most about season 4 is how many directions it goes in. There are 7 different subplots throughout the entire show. And the one they focus the most on is 11 getting like, oh my god, I didn't even talk about that, dude. So in season 1, Dr. Brennan, the like main government scientist villain guy, he dies. Like, you see him die. They do the Fast and Furious thing of like, they may have died, but we never said they died, so they're actually alive. Nothing happened to them. They're fine. They did that to Dr. Brennan. They undead it. He's not dead anymore. He is alive, in fact. and more evil than ever. And he's like, what if I put 11 in a tank and made her relive all of her like most traumatic like memories when I was like had her in my like child army lab. Um, like, what if we did that? Because then she'd get her powers back, obviously. And so, like, they spend way too much time on that. And, like, the only reason they do that is because it builds up to the whole thing with, like, Henry, because he's, like, there. And then he's like, 11, don't you want to escape? This place is terrible. And she's like, yes, I'd love to escape. And then he's like, actually, I have this, like, weird, like, implant. Could you get rid of it for me? Because, like, I can't use my powers like you. And then she gets rid of it, and then he, like, literally, like, kills an entire, like, he kills like all this, like it's literally that like one meme of like scream and your staff dies, except no one screams, the staff just dies. And like, you know, they like get, and she's like, oh my god, like Henry, you like fuck so heavy. And then he's like 11, and then he gets like a little too close. Brother, maybe back up a little bit, you know, maybe give like 6 feet, you know. But anyway, and he like goes in this whole monologue, which actually I kind of don't mind, of like, my parents were evil and like, I have to like, it's up to me to right the world. And like, I was made into this monstrosity, but it's my job to like, I'm gonna make my trauma everyone's problem. Like, I've noticed this is like a recent trope in a lot of shows of like, they have a main villain character and they have like one specific issue that they make literally everyone's problem. Like this Vecna with like his like weird parent childhood issues. I don't know. He's like his daddy issues basically. They did that with like Has-Been Hotel, where Vox is like, my hot twink dear boyfriend broke up with me, therefore I'm gonna make it everyone's problem and almost kill everyone in the process. But you know, it's fine. That one is a little justified though, because I would also be like really, really mad if my hot twink dear boyfriend broke up with me. I would be upset. You know, I would make it everyone's problem because. But anyway, that's a different show. But like, it's just like an example. I feel like there's a lot of shows anymore where they're like, the one villain has one specific issue that is easily solved, or maybe you could just go to therapy. I don't know. And then they're like, I'm making it everyone's problem, and I'm gonna kill thousands of people in the process. I love you. Like, girl, I love you so for real. I did write down that if they threw in time travel bullshit, I was going to scream. They haven't done that yet. I'm honestly shocked there's not, like, weird time travel bullshit. I mean, I guess there kind of is in the weird Henry Mind universe. But, like, that doesn't really count because it's not really time traveling. The subplots of season 4, again, they spent way too much on the 11 one, which I just explained. And just, like, and the one that kind of connects to that one is, like, this other government side plot where I think they're either trying to kill 11. I think they're trying to kill 11 because it's like general guy going around being like, do you know where she is? Or do you know her? Or where are they keeping her? And they're like, I don't know, man. And then they like, I don't know. I think that's the second subplot, is they're trying to either kill Dr. Brennan and kill 11, or like, I don't know. But anyway, they go to the buyer's house and they're like, you guys are under house arrest. And then they like, but then like more government people show up. I don't know. The government thing is really confusing and I still don't really understand it to this day. So you got that one. And then you have the Will, Mike, Jonathan, Argyle road trip side plot. I hate that one so much because A, it's so meaningless. B, I hate Argyle. C, it's them trying to get to Hawkins, but I feel like they change like trajectories like 3 times. Cause they're like, we gotta get to Hawkins, and they're like, but we gotta find 11, and then they're like, but we gotta go to Susie so she can find 11 for us because we're a bunch of dumb hoes who don't know how to read a map. I mean, justified because it's like a secret government location, but like, I don't know. Like, even when they do get Susie's help, they still can't read the map. I'm just like, girl, it can't be that difficult. Like, I know it's probably hard to find, but like, I can't read a map, so I shouldn't judge, but like, they didn't have GPS back then. They should know how to read a map. I don't know. That's just a thought. But anyway, so you have that one. And then they like go to like a pizza place so like 11 can like, I don't remember. It's like she's trying to reach into someone's mind. I can't remember whose mind it is. It might be Max's mind. I think it's Max's mind. So she doesn't die. Yeah, that's because she does reach into Billy's mind in season 3. And then she reaches into Max's mind. That's what like makes her not die. And then they get to Hawkins eventually, obviously. But I will say that subplot did give us the wonderful, like, Will crying about being gay scene where he's like talking to, like, I don't remember, he's talking to like Micah, and he's just like I want to kiss him, and it's really funny. I love that scene because it kind of reminds me of the Dawson's Creek crying scene, but it's more funny for some reason. I'm kind of obsessed. And then you have the Russia subplot. I'm not even gonna talk about the Russia subplot because of how much I hate it. It's so dumb. All you need to know is there's Demogorgons in Russia. They have a Demogorgon lab, and they've captured some Vecna essence. And they're using that to make Demogorgons in a lab, and they use them to eat prisoners, and Hopper's one of those prisoners, but, also, he should literally have gangrene. He shouldn't have a limb. He shouldn't have a limb, but he does, and he's fine. But whatever. And then you have the Robin, Steve, Nancy, Eddie in the Upside Down, cause like, Vecna with every kid with issue he kills opens another portal to the Upside Down, so they go into the one in Eddie's trailer and also the one in like the lake to like go to the Upside so yeah, they're in the Upside Down, and they go to like this like basically Sportsman's Warehouse and buy a bunch of guns, even though they're all like literally Erica's there being like, hand me the Glock, and I'm like, girl, you're literally like 10. I know it's 1984 where no one gives a shit about like gun safety or whatever. But like, can we not give the child a gun? That probably would be useful. But anyway, and then they go to the Upside Down and like do all this shit. Also, Steve is just raw dogging the Upside Down. No shoes. He's just raw dogging that shit. And he gets a bunch of bats that try to eat him, but somehow survives. But he's Steve, and Steve can't die. So, Fast and Furious, he's just Dom. But way better and not annoying. So, yeah, he is Dominic Torino for real. Nothing can kill him. He literally can be in an exploding car and not die. But that's, you know what? Oh my god, you know what? Dr. Brennan dying is like Hans dying in a car explosion in Tokyo Drift, and then him coming back in Fast 9 as a main character. That's what it's giving. Brother died, and they're like, but he faked his death. Girl, no, you would have died in that car explosion. That's not possible. You're defying the laws of nature. But we never said he did die. Stop. And then you have the children, Dustin, Max, and Lucas, and I think also Erica, lying to the police about, cause like they're all in like this like, oh, I didn't talk about this. So like there's this group of like jock dudes, I think they play basketball, and they're all basically just like MAGA Republicans, but in the 80s, and they're all like, cause you know like in the 80s the whole like D&D thing of like it was like Satan or whatever, and they're like, Eddie Munson is running a cult that's like sacrificing children to Satan, and then like he convinces the whole town with this like shitty ass speech that like, you know, they should like go after them, and then like the police are like, actually maybe don't listen to a dumb 18-year-old whose frontal lobe hasn't fully developed, just stay in your houses so you don't die, and then they like, but the kids leave the house to go to the lake or river for like because one of the popular MAGA Republican jock kids gets Vecna'd. And then he's like, Eddie, he's the one that killed my bro. He killed my boys. Also these kids, the jock dudes, they have this like weird like crack den that they turn this old like burger place from season 1 where the guy got killed by this like government lady. They turn it into like a crack den basically. Girl, what? It's basically a frat house but a crack den. So, I mean, those are basically the same thing if you really think about it. But, like, I rest my case. Joyce, and then the guy Murray, who they introduced in season 3, the, like, conspiracy theorist guy, who helps out with, like, the Russian stuff, because he's, like, obsessed with Russians, I guess. There's, like, another subplot to the Russia subplot where they're, like, trying to, like, get out of Russia, basically. I don't know why I wrote that one down. Also, Vecna is in there, and interspliced. He's in, like, all the Hawkins ones. that's like another subplot is Vecnaing all the kids with depression. So I wrote what makes Vecna evil, and I said his obsession with children, which is true. I mean, it seems like it's his driving force. He literally monologues for like 10 minutes in season 5 about how much he loves children. Well, he doesn't like how they're like so like weak-minded, and he's like he can easily manipulate them, and he's like, I'm gonna use them to build my new order, and I'm like, that's hella sus. Maybe don't say that. While he's like caressing Will's face, I'm like, girl, be so fucking for real. Like, stop. Also, Vecna kills all the experiment kids because like they were bullying. Like a bunch of them were bullying 11 via telekinesis. Me when my child army they start turning on each other via telekinesis. So, but then when I realize that they're doing this, I just torture them. So, and then they're still out for blood anyway. Because I like creating my own little Hunger Games within my own lab. But then like, you know, you just have Henry being like, I killed all of them because I love you, 11. Girl, stop. No. Well, 11 was a child, so you know. Again, they're easily they don't know any better. Oh yeah. Also, they like Nancy and Robin. Forgot about Robin there for a second. They go to like they pretend to be these like PhD students to interview this one guy that survived being Vecna'd. It turns out it was Vecna's dad, and he's just like, my son hella evil. He killed my entire family. Just so you know. And they're like, good to know. And then the Vecna house is like a main thing. It like keeps coming up. It's the house he keeps all the children in his like weird mind world prison thing. Also, he expositions at Nancy through a like weird dream sequence thing of like, I hate everything, and therefore I need to destroy the world and make a new order. I need to kill your friend Maxine. I need her bones to munch on. Nancy's like, that's cool and all, but like, hell nah, brother. Their government team shows up to the secret government facility that Dr. Brennan's in, that he's like, you know, torturing 11 basically so she can get her powers back. And she does get her powers back, by the way. But they go in, and then literally 11 takes down like 3 Blackhawks, maybe only 1 or 2. No, she takes down 1 Blackhawk, and like she basically kills the entire government team except for like the general and like a handful of dudes. And then Dr. Brennan like also dies, but like before he dies, he's like, 11, I love you. I'm your father. Like, I love you. I was doing this all just for you, for your own good. And then she's just like, yeah, sure, babe, whatever. And then kind of like, and then he dies, and she's like, eh. And then we never speak about him again. Well, we do. He comes up in passing. My back sucks my foot. I wrote down that Eddie was going to die in the stupidest way possible, and I could feel it in my bones. And he kind of does die in a very stupid way. A bunch of bats just eat him. I mean, that was part of their plan, was like lure the bats away from Vecna's like weird lair thing to like attack him, which they do successfully. And his guitar solo is really cool. Like, that's sick as hell. And I was like, okay, go off, Eddie. I'm gonna be real, I was not an Eddie stan. I thought he was like, A, kind of pointless, B, he wasn't really annoying. He was just kind of there. Like, he was so painfully obvious that he was like the Blorbo character they were gonna kill off. That was just like, this isn't necessary, guys. I will say, at least with Eddie, we got the like, wake up, Chrissy! Chrissy, I don't like this! Chrissy, wake up, Chrissy! We got that like peak banger song. We got that peak banger, wake up, Chrissy, I don't like this. That I don't like this is in parentheses. I also hate all of the like, all the romance, like dating people. They're all annoying and they all feel forced, and I don't like them. And, nobody should be dating anyone in this show, actually. So maybe that's a good call that they all break up. I don't know. And I will say, the scene where they light Vecna on fire is actually pretty cool. The cinematography was really cool. I think they used the Dutch tilt a few times in season 4. It was actually, like, it's well used, and I'm like, okay. Because I feel like sometimes people, especially in horror stuff, will abuse the shit out of the Dutch tilt, and it's like, bruh. But they do a good job of using it. And like with the music, it's really cool. The finale did not need to be 3 hours long because nothing happens for most of it's literally them just expositioning at each other for an hour and a half, and then the last like hour is like actual things happening, and I'm like, this did not need to be an hour. This could have ended. This could have been way shorter. But yeah, that is seasons 1 through 4. I feel like I've sprinkled a good amount of season 5 commentary in there. Season 5 is a lot of Fast and Furious retconning. And exposition dumping at each other, or being, again, they're doing the Netflix like, oh, we know you're not paying attention, so every emotion conveyed is going to be conveyed verbally, so because you're not looking at the screen. So like every time they're like talking about, like, especially like Steve and Dustin, literally everyone, they're just like, I know how you, like, I will say I did like Steve and Dustin's whole like thing in the like lab, so that one is like fine. But they do it for way too long. It's like 10 minutes, and I'm like, girl, I don't care. You could have conveyed this with 4 sentences and 2 looks and a stare, maybe, and it would make sense. But no, there's too much talking. All they do is talk. They don't do anything but talk. And it's either exposition dumping, this is how I feel about you, and let me go on for 10 minutes about it. Or, I had an epiphany by looking at a soda can that was on its side that someone accidentally stepped on. That's how we defeat Vecna, guys. Crushed soda can. Or, I touched grass, and I figured out that that's how we can defeat Vecna. If Vecna becomes woke, I think that's how we defeat him. Because that's just obviously the answer, right? Right? It's so dumb. It's those 3 things, or Will being like, guys, I have such a dark, terrible secret to tell you all, but it's haunting me because Vecna knows your every waking thought and all your darkest secrets. Like, literally the way he's talking about it, you think he would have he killed someone. He's like, you would have been like, the way like that whole speech is just like, before I even get to the speech, because that's his own thing. My favorite episode was episode 4. Episode 3 was also pretty good, because we got iconic Derek moments. Derek is a little shit until episode 3, and then I'm like, okay, he's kind of the GOAT. I love him. Episode 4 is where he really shines. Love Derek. He's like my favorite part, besides like, you know. But anyway, so like they're in like the final battle with like the military and like Demogorgon and shit, and like Vecna comes out in this with his snatched 10-inch waist, being like, well, it's time to like serve down because I'm obsessed with you, best, and I need to can you be like the master general of my army of children that I'm building? Because I love kids, obviously, if you couldn't tell. Anyway, so he does that, and then like literally he's like going on this like a little like children a little too much monologue, and then immediately Whitla's just like thinking of like all these like things, and then like it's building up to this because like he like saw Robin like making out with like her girlfriend. He's just like, oh my god, there's other gay people, and then like he's like, Robin, what does it mean to be gay? And then like you know, all that shit. And then, like, he, like, thinks of that, and then he thinks of, like, Mike, and then he's just, like, and then literally he's, like, with the power of gay. The power of gay compels you. And then gains, like, 11 telekinesis powers and, like, kills every Demogorgon. And then Vecna's like, what the fuck? And he's really, with the power of gay, he uses the power of homosexuality to defeat Vecna's Demogorgon army, even though all the children have been taken. I'm just gonna say it. Like, Noah Schnapp, don't care for him. He's not great, but that scene did fuck. Mostly in a it's really funny kind of way of like me when I use my gay powers for good. You know, so that's what they do in Wicked. I can be changed for good. It's just channeling all my gay thoughts into magical energy, and then I get my superpowers from that. That's a good superhero premise. They should have a superhero in Dispatch that's like that. That would fuck heavy. Next villain? Shroud? Nah. The next villain should be that. It's just Will. But anyway, that one's really funny. The power of gay compels you. And then Mike is just like, oh my god, look at him. I don't know how I feel about this. It's feeling a little gay up in here. And then I'm like, literally, when I was done watching it, I'm like, that was peak, because it was really funny. It was like, I love stuff that flops upwards. Like, it's so bad that it's, like, actually really enjoyable to watch, and it flops upward. And that's how I felt about those 2 episodes. And then I was like, oh wait, the second batch that comes out in Christmas is gonna be, like, peak. And then I watched it, and I felt tired. I was like, all they do is talk at each other. All they do is exposition dump. Max and the sister Holly, why is she important? She showed up like 3 times. Why is she relevant? Like, can we not? I guess just she's the only child left. They couldn't use Erica, you know, she's too sassy. So like they're gonna leave the weird like Vecna like mind prison thing. And then Max is like Max and like Holly have like a 10-minute I literally I was yelling at the screen for them to shut the fuck up and just go through the portal. Like, they did not need to be saying all that. Like, girl, stop giving her a motivational speech. I think she gets the point. Like, just go. You're wasting time. You're wasting precious time. I did like how Max came back. That was fun. And you know, the Wheeler mom for the win. She had multiple W's. You know, being the show that Demogorgon with a wine bottle, you know, goated. And then she was like, you know what? Fam's in trouble. What if I put this oxygen tank inside a dryer and made a bomb? What about that? And then literally, like, Max wakes up in that scene and stuff. And then they're gonna, like, leave. And then the mom, I don't remember her name, she like comes up to him and she's like, I'm gonna go with you. And they're like, no, Mom, I think you're not looking too good. Maybe you should stay here. And she's like, no, I'm going with you. You know, and then Mike's like, no, Mom, you need to stay here. Like, girl, she just saved your asses out of that like Jurassic Park ass situation. Like, what do you mean? You'd be dead if it wasn't for her. You'd be fucking dead, bitch. Like, treat your mom with respect. Do you not remember the 10 Commandments? I guess not. There's all the stuff in the Upside Down. And there's the whole, like, unproposal with, like, Nancy and Jonathan. That was so fucking stupid. Like, I don't care. You can literally die in the goop room. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Your romance is dumb. Stop. Just stop. Just say that you don't want to be with each other anymore. Just leave it at that. You don't have to be this whole, like, oh, like, I've always loved you, and I was gonna give you this ring that was inside of my emotional support cassette tape. And then I was just like, bruh, that was so dumb. I'm not going to talk about that scene because I genuinely don't care. I was so tired at this point. I was like, bruh, brother in Christ. Well, so Will does go into the weird mind realm, kind of, not really. He gets like trapped by Vecna because he channels his gay powers again through a Demogorgon because he has to be like connected to the hive mind or something. So he channels his gay thoughts into the Demogorgon, and then kneecaps Vecna as he's like torturing. It's not really torturing. He's just like fucking with like Holly and like and Max, and he's like telling him to like run away or whatever. And they think it's 11, by the way. I think it's 11. She wouldn't do that shit. She's too busy mogging. She's too busy mogging at the camera to even care. But like, and then Will like pass, and then he gets Vecna'd, and then Vecna's like, I love you, Will. I need to penetrate your thoughts once again. I'm like, brother, stop. The side eye, the bombastic side eye I'm giving this man is insane. And then he's like, I'm gonna use you as my spy, and then he finds where like that she's like in the hospital. That comes before the hospital thing, by the way. I explained those out of order. But after they all get back, they circle the wagon, you know. And then Will's like, he infiltrates your every thought, and like he knows what you're thinking, all your darkest secrets. Like, brother sounds like he actually killed someone in cold blood. No, and he goes on this whole like speech of like, I'm just like you guys, but I'm different. I'm so different. I like have this thing, this dark thing about me that's like, it's changing me from the inside. It's like eating away at me like a disease. And then he's just like, And he's like crying the whole time. He's just like, I don't like girls. And then everyone's just looking at him like, girl, we do not give a shit. The world is ending. Mind you, the world is actively ending while he's like going on this like, I'm gay. Like, girl, no one cares. Like, we knew. And then like, he doesn't stop there. Because there's like this whole thing with like Robin and her like liking girls or whatever. And then he's like, there's one I had a crush on. And it's obviously Mike. And then Mike's just like, what? And then he's like, and he was my Tammy. Because like Tammy's the one girl that like Robin liked, but you know, whatever. And then Mike's just like, bruh, what? Like, it's so dumb. And everyone's just like, and like after he's like done like going on this like, I'm gay. Like everyone, there's just like this awkward silence. And like 11 actively looks like she wants to call him a slur, but doesn't. Like, she looks so angry. She's like angry mogging at the camera. And then finally everyone's just like, we support you, Will. And then I saw this tweet that was like, in the 80s, with this many people statistically in the room, at least 1 to 2 people should be calling him a slur. And you know, it wasn't historically accurate, like low-key. These people too woke for the 80s. They're too woke, you know. It's so stupid. Like, bruh. But yeah, so like, and then that's how it ends. And then like the finale. I don't have high hope. I don't have any hopes for the finale. I know the finale is gonna be dog shit, but you know, that's okay. Anyway, I think I'm done. This is my opinion portion, my unhinged recap opinions of Stranger Things. My actual like analysis, like deep thought video is gonna be separate, because like it would just be like me like making like sophisticated commentary and then just like going on being like, girl, be so for real. That video would be so long. This video is already too long. But this is installment 1. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. I did Stranger Things makeup, and I wore my Planes, Trains, and Automobiles shirt because that is from the 80s. I don't have any Stranger Things merch. But I hope you enjoyed. Bye!